out of Jacobs Field, which is down the street from Quicken Loans Arena. The Tigers defeating the Indians 9-5. And Petty, who took in the Indians and Tigers, hanging around at the plaza, which is adjacent to the Q. And they're watching our telecast on the big screen. So we have 21,000 here inside the arena, thousands outside. As we head to the fourth quarter, the Cavaliers outscored the Pistons 19-18 in the third. That's the same score of the third quarter in Game 5.
Well, it's amazing. The crowd is back in this game, and what they're waiting on is for another fourth quarter from LeBron James. You see the numbers here. Can LeBron do it one more time in the fourth quarter to get his team to the NBA Finals for the first time ever, or is Detroit going to push it to a Game 7?
Well, LeBron has said throughout this series, just get me to the fourth. The problem is, tonight he's not in much of a rhythm, only 1 for 5. He does have 10 free throws, but he's here, it's close, but he really has no flow offensively at all.
Cavaliers by 1. Hunter for 3. Hit one a moment ago. Rebounded by James. Here's Damon Jones. Daniel Gibson from downtown.
This guy's becoming a legend. Nobody had heard of him about 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden, he's becoming a star.
Well, he's fearless. That's what you love. You love competitors in this kind of environment.
Cleveland opens up a 4-point lead. Rasheed Wallace is back. Had a long rest in the third quarter. Defensive 3-second violation is called on the Cavaliers, so a technical foul.
Well, Daniel Gibson, you space the floor, you stay away from LeBron, get the good spacing, and find the open area. He loves that little shot over on that angle. Lindsey Hunter will step up. It's an interesting group here that Flip Saunders has. He has his starting front line, Webber, Wallace, and Prince, and he has Lindsey Hunter out there with Flip Murray as he's given Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups a rest here to come down to the stretch drive.
And what he told us before the game was that he might play Hunter and Flip Murray together because they're probably his best trappers in the half-court defense.
Shot clock to 5. Traveling violation. Tayshaun Prince having a very difficult time.
That's where you have to be tough. You know, you're Tayshaun Prince. You can't be concerned about yourself. You got to just compete and play and throw yourself into the game the best you can.
Daniel Gibson has scored the last 8 points for the Cavaliers. He's the high man for Cleveland with 15. Murray slapped it away. Cavaliers maintain possession. They'll have 11 on the 24.
And it wouldn't shock me to see Detroit stay in this little half-court trap the remainder of the game. Cleveland has had all kinds of trouble with
Gibson for 3. Yes!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Wow!
That's his third 3. He has 18 points. The Cavaliers lead by 6. And Flip Saunders wants to talk.
Boobie Gibson, unbelievable, his second in a row. This guy taking on star status here in Cleveland.
Sponsored by Coors Light.
That was the best one we've had all year, I have to say. Thank you, Ernie, for that. We're watching a Cleveland team that was down 2-0, trying to win this series. When was the last time a series with a winner in the conference finals came back from a 2-0 deficit? Well, it's happened only twice. The 71 Baltimore Bullets beat the Knicks, and the 1993 Bulls also beating the Knicks.
I think that guy has a future in the business despite what he just did. 73-67 off the steal. James with the bucket and a foul to add to that lead. For LeBron, only his second field goal, but that's a big one.
Now remember, I told you about who Flip Saunders had on the floor. He had his backup guards to go to the starting front line. with this steal and score, it's now an 8-1 run to start this quarter, possibly 9-1 as LeBron James gets only his second field goal, but now he's got to come back with his starting guards, Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups. But a push here at the start of the fourth quarter has given Cleveland a little bit of a lead here.
Foul on Hunter. 3-point play for James. Daniel Gibson had scored the previous 11 points for the Cavaliers. 76-67 Cleveland. Wallace working on Barajak. Kept alive by Hamilton. Wallace steps back, shoots the three. Phillips with the rebound, will not count. Foul is called. It's on Phillips.
Steven, you're open. You talked about Detroit poise in the fourth quarter, something they've known for. They've had 3 bad possessions here and 2 really bad shots. Way too much time to be stepping out shooting those threes.
James played by Hamilton. Gibson open for 3. Yes! For the rookie, Daniel Gibson, matching the career high of 2 games back. Marshall knocked it away, but a foul is called. It's a reach-in.
This is incredible. Second-round pick. A guy who really was unknown until a couple of weeks ago. He's had the huge game in Game 3, and he's taking advantage of all these openings. Detroit still sending 2-3 players at LeBron James, and he's knocking down every shot. He's fearless.
It sort of reminds me of a guy that played for the Spurs when in Game 6 against Dallas. They brought off the bench. Our little partner here, Steve Kerr, knocking all those big threes down in the deciding game.
Well, that was my 15th year. This kid's a rookie. He said early in the series, though, he said, I don't even know pressure. I don't know what this feels like. I'm just having fun.
You look young, though.
You're being so kind with Steve. Moving on to the presidency and general managership of the Phoenix Suns. Nice move by Hamilton. It's a 10-point Cavalier lead. They have busted it open here in the early moments of the fourth quarter. And Daniel Gibson with 14 of his 21 points over the last 5 minutes. Reach-in foul. That's 4 on Hamilton.
And it's interesting, will this run Detroit out of all the traps that they've been showing? And if that's the case, now you open up LeBron to be able to go to work and do his thing.
And he's got a little bounce to his step right now after that steal and 3-point play. He's feeling it.
They double up on James. Here's Marshall for 3. Rebounded by Weber. Hamilton. Handled by Marshall. James with the step. Here's LeBron. Marshall battling for that rebound. And a foul on the Pistons.
Cleveland has just dominated the boards here tonight, 43-28. We got Ilgauskas and Marshall, Varejao, everybody just flying to the ball. And that's one of their big strengths here, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the NBA.
That's 4 on Wallace, and the call right here. Cavaliers breaking it open here in the opening minutes of the fourth quarter. Still a long time to go as Gibson draws the foul. It's a block on Prince.
And this is LeBron's favorite lineup to have on the floor with him. These are his shooters. You've got Damon Jones, you have Gibson and Marshall, and the activity of Varejao. So this is a team that's so difficult to trap with all the shooters.
the Pistons 12-3 to take a 10-point lead if necessary. If there is a 7th game Monday night back in Detroit, we'll have it for you right here on TNT with our coverage beginning 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Thursday on ABC, it'll be game 1 of the NBA Finals. The San Antonio Spurs going against the winner of this series starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Now, is that the penalty now? They're going to be shooting free throws the rest of the way, Cleveland. So now Detroit is going to try to have to defend them without fouling. Every foul now, they're shooting free throws.
And the Pistons in foul trouble, 4 apiece on Prince, Wallace, Weber, Hamilton, and McDyess. Wallace bothered by Varejao. Varejao goes down. It's an offensive foul. That's 5 on Wallace.
Composure. The Detroit Pistons have turned the ball over. And this is what they sort of pride themselves on. Here's Rasheed. He just goes right through Varejao. Right there. That's an easy play to make. That's an easy play to call for the officials.
And for the most part in this series, we've been talking about poise. We've seen the younger Cavaliers show poise in contrast to what we've seen from the veteran Detroit Pistons. And again a foul on Detroit.
2 more free throws coming. And there's a technical.
It's number 6 on Wallace. And he has been teed up. Antonio McDyess.
He's going to give him another one here, too.
McDyess restraining Wallace.
And what that means, Marv, if there's a game 7, he's suspended. I think that's his 7th technical. So if there's a game 7, he won't play.
You are correct. He had a 5th earlier in this series, now number 6 and 7. So Rasheed Wallace, losing his composure once again, picks up 2 technicals in arguing that last call. And if there is, as you mentioned, if there's a 7th game, he would not be available.
It's been coming this entire series. And you mentioned it, guys. The Cavaliers after game 2 showed so much poise after the potential foul on James was not called when he went to the hole. They went down 2-0, and the Cavaliers came out of that game in the press conference and said, we're a no excuses team. And Cleveland showed such great poise. There's a foul on Wallace. But meanwhile, Detroit has been imploding the last few games. The emotions boiling over. And I think what we're seeing is an Eastern Conference era starting to crumble here.
And as Craig Sager reported earlier, there has been much bickering on the bench. We saw it in game number 5. Players voicing their displeasure. We're told with some of the strategy that is being utilized by the coaching staff. It was that players-only meeting.
Well, one of the things, Marv, that Cleveland did is they huddled up during that sequence and said, don't lose the cool. You got to keep playing, but do not lose your cool.
Foul is called. The outside official, Joe DeRosa, calls it
on the Cavaliers number 17, Anderson Varejao.
on Varejao.
His 3rd personal and 2nd foul.
And for the Cavs, only their 2nd team foul.
You know, what's happened in the last couple of games is that, at times Detroit has taken advantage of this Cleveland lineup with the shooters, with Gibson and Jones and Marshall, because it's not as strong defensively as the starting unit. Tonight, that hasn't been the case. You can tell Detroit is rattled. They're playing in a frenzied manner. They're not settled down at all. They're not taking advantage of anything offensively.
It's called a shooting foul, though Phillips in the act. So he has 2 free throws. You can log on to TNT Overtime on NBA.com to see John Thompson's exclusive interview with LeBron James. TNT Overtime, the basketball broadband channel that's on all the time only at NBA.com. We saw part of the conversation earlier on the pregame show. John sitting down with LeBron earlier today.
And one of the things this forces Flip Saunders to do is play Chris Webber with McDyess. Now, Chris Webber, not one of their better defenders. He's in there obviously to score. But let's see if Cleveland tries to get him involved in a lot of pick and roll.
Varejao set the screen. Here's Jones for 3. Rebounded by Prince. 83-71 Cleveland. Hamilton, Weber, McDyess trying to keep it alive, and then James came away with it.
If I'm Cleveland, I keep pushing the tempo. I do not set up.
Gibson for three. My goodness. That's 5 from downtown and a career high of 27 points for Daniel Gibson.
Don't set up. Keep the pace of the game going. It's in your favor right now, and Daniel Gibson has just set a booby trap on Detroit.
5 threes the last 7 minutes. 15 of his 27 here in the fourth.
And guess who? Daniel Gibson has been on fire tonight. 5 of 5 from the three-point line. He's going to the line 10 of 13 from the free throw line. But these wide-open jump shots, how about LeBron James? You could have won a lot of money right now if you would have said Cleveland would be up 15 points and LeBron James has 2 field goals. 27 points on 7 shots tonight for Daniel Gibson.
And tonight playing the role of LeBron James, Daniel Gibson, who has scored 20 of the last 24 Cavalier points. Pavlovich called on the foul.
Well, LeBron has been begging for help really since he arrived here in Cleveland for shooting help. Everybody paying so much attention to him as Hamilton shakes free. And Gibson is a godsend for him. Meanwhile, Detroit has gone to this really small lineup. Flip Saunders trying to shake things up, get some things going here.
I love the way LeBron James, as the foul is called on Murray. So Gibson will shoot 2 more with Detroit in the penalty. I love the way 22-year-old LeBron James refers to the 21-year-old Daniel Gibson as the kid.
You know, sort of that scene, Marv, sort of reminded me of when Magic Johnson used to do that to Byron Scott. When Byron would get hot and you would see him go, and he'd be telling him, they can't guard you. And just filled him full of all these positive thoughts. And I mean, Daniel Gibson now, they're shooting free throws the rest of the way. Eric Snow's in the game defensively, so they're trying to go to a small lineup that's one of their better defensive lineups.
Now it's a 14-point game now, 15. And look at the free throw difference. 31 made free throws for Cleveland, 16 for Detroit. So there's your game.
Hamilton, he's fouled. Getting back to Gibson, adding to his career high. He now has 29, but 22 of the 29 have come over the last 8.5 minutes. Second-round draft pick out of Texas. He came out after his sophomore season. And Daniel, a young man in high school, finished 6th academically in his graduating class of over 200.
The thing that's amazing, though, if you look at his point production per shot tonight, he has 29 points on 7 shots. That's over 4 points every time he shot the ball tonight.
Played 60 of the 82 games in the regular season, and has had a breakout Eastern Conference Final Series. Cavaliers up by 13, 6 minutes to play in the fourth. Good play by McDyess. Phillips with the save, but it's recaptured by Snow.
And they get a new 24 on that play. It looked like it was going to be out. Clock winding down.
And Jones taken to the rim.
Well, this is now a guard game. I mean, guards all over the place, so not going to be a whole lot of shot blocking at the rim.
Reach-in foul.
Calling the Cavaliers number 1, Daniel Gibson, his 4th.
Foul on Gibson. That is his 4th. And Cleveland is now over the foul limit.
When you're playing with this kind of lead, though, the last thing you want to do is keep fouling and stopping the clock. You'd like to see Detroit have to score from the floor. But Rip Hamilton's going to catch that ball and curl. He's got one thing on his mind. I'm going to go to the rim and get fouled.
It's 28 points for Hamilton, leading the Pistons. Cavs have outscored the Pistons 21-10 here in the fourth quarter. .13-point lead for the The Cavaliers 5.5 to play. The Cavaliers looking to hold on to advance to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history. This is their 36th year of existence. They entered the NBA back in the 70-71 season. Hamilton. Varejao gets to the rebound. James taking all the way. Varejao keeping it alive.
Cleveland just wants the ball a little bit more right now. Eric Snow just went in there between two guys and knocked the ball loose.
Got clock to 7. Gibson. Oh, it's all going in to Daniel Gibson.
We've seen floaters, teardrops, free throws, threes.
31 for Gibson. McDyess. James with the box out. 13 rebounds for LeBron, who has certainly had a different type of game than we saw in Game 5 in Detroit. Only 9 shot attempts. And a foul is called as James made his move on Hamilton. Prince trying to help out. Call for number 5.
These Cleveland fans, everybody's standing. Think of what they've been through. You know, Cleveland sports fans, a long history of close calls that haven't come through. The drive, the fumble. We almost had the clock tonight, but it doesn't look like it's going to come back to haunt them.
Experience the championship. The Cavaliers have never even contested for the title. 1948 Indians beat the Boston Braves in the World Series in 6. Lou Boudreau named Series MVP. Team featured Bob Feller, Bob Lemon, Larry Doby, and the 1964 Cleveland Browns beat the Baltimore Colts 27-0 in the NFL championship game, led by Jim Brown and quarterback Frank Ryan. So the Cavaliers are 3 minutes and 59 seconds away from making their way to the NBA Final. The San Antonio Spurs are waiting in the wings. Long respite for the Spurs with Game 1 of the Finals to take place on Thursday night in San Antonio.
And I'll tell you, you think about the Eastern Conference and just how weak it is. The Miami aging before our eyes this year. Detroit, you wonder what's going to happen with the Pistons. This could be the beginning of a long dominance for Cleveland, because this isn't really a finished product. I mean, they've got some pieces to add in the coming years, some roles to fill. But if they're breaking through now, you know, we could see the Cavaliers dominating this conference for a long time.
Well, this is a Cavalier team that won 50 games in the regular season, 50 and 32. They finished as the 2nd seed in the East behind Detroit. First round, they swept the injury-hit Wizards, had the long layoff before opening the series against the Nets. Then Cleveland beat the Nets in 6. Foul is called as Murray takes it. Basket. Foul on James. That's his first. And basketball people were saying, well, the Cavaliers got the good draw because they played 2 teams that were certainly hampered on the front line. And the Wizards also without 2 of their star players, Gilbert Arenas, Caron Butler, and the Nets without Nenad Kristic. And many felt that when they go up against Detroit's front line, it would be a different story.
Well, Detroit front line said that. They said that you haven't seen anybody like us. Well, tonight and throughout this series, we've seen the play of their front line.
The Pistons won 50 games during the regular season. Won 53 and all, 53 and 29. They end up on top in the Eastern Conference. And the foul is called as LeBron was hacked.
Number 32, Richard Hamilton.
Hamilton, and he is fouled out as you take a look at The Piston resume, second in the NBA in points allowed during the regular season. They had 2 All-Stars and Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups. They made their 5th consecutive trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. They made it to 2 NBA Finals over a 5-year stretch, winning the championship in 2004, beat the Lakers in 5 under Larry Brown, then returned to the Finals. 2005, lost to San Antonio in 7, and then last year lost in the conference finals in 6 to Miami.
I remember last year they won, what, 64 games? They flirted with 70. I mean, they looked like they were heading for a championship. So 2 consecutive years of really playoff failure. I mean, when your expectations are that high, this is failure. And you wonder, this is with the older team that the Pistons have. Keep in mind, Billups is a free agent as Dice gets fouled going to the hole. So Chauncey Billups has to be re-signed. A lot of question marks with Detroit as they move forward.
Number 1 shooting 2, Antonio McDyess.
Antonio McDyess will shoot 2.
And if you're Mike Brown in Cleveland right now, that clock cannot move fast enough. When you're standing over there with that 15-point lead, and all you want to do is get out of here with the win, have a chance to celebrate a little bit. And I can only think right now in San Antonio of Greg Popovich, obviously must be incredibly proud of Mike Brown and what he's done here in 2 short years. But now they're going to have to go against one another. That's always very, very uncomfortable when you go against a coach that you really, really like.
I was going to say, he'll be proud of him for about 30 seconds, and then he's trying to scheme a way to beat him.
Last season, Mike Brown led the Cavaliers to their first playoff series win in 13 years with a victory over the Wizards. Foul shot from Jones. Just under 3 minutes to play. It's a 16-point Cavalier lead. Hunter rebounded by Gibson.
Marv, I was thinking last year in Miami in Game 6, it was Jason Williams, I think, who hit his first 10 shots to be able to help Miami win that game. Tonight, it's Daniel Gibson.
James for 3. So his shot has been off. He's now 2 for 10, but 14 of 19 at the line, along with 13 rebounds and 8 assists.
And if you think about LeBron moving forward, think about Michael Jordan in his young career. First 6 years, he scored so many points, did so many amazing things, but took a lot of heat. Doug, you were there for most of it. But when he had that breakthrough season, what do we say, the 7th year, he won the championship, then the floodgates opened up. And they were in the finals just about every year. You wonder if there's not going to be an emotional breakthrough of sorts for LeBron after this series.
They're on their feet here at the Q. The celebration has begun. James, yes. The Cavaliers pulling away in the 4th quarter, led by the rookie out of Texas, Daniel Gibson, led by the all-around play of LeBron James. Gibson, the high point man, with 31. The Cavs will be only the 3rd team in NBA history to come back to win a conference final after being down 2-0. Raymond Jones comes up short. Bergeron the rebound. As we approach a minute to play, and Cleveland will make it to the NBA Finals for the first time in the history of the franchise.
If I'm Mike Brown, I get LeBron out, or I take a 20-second timeout and let these fans show him the love. What he's done in 4 years here is not short of amazing.
Gibson.
Oh, he missed one.
Gibson is now 7 of 9 from the field, scoring 20 of his 31 in an amazing 8.5-minute stretch. Flip Murray with that Detroit bucket. Down at 20 seconds. Here's Jones. Marshall with another offensive rebound. The Cleveland Cavaliers in a stunner have knocked off the Detroit Pistons, and they are headed to the NBA Finals to face the San Antonio Spurs. Well, this is an improbable run by the Cavaliers coming into this series. Not many people who felt that the Pistons could be knocked off by the Cavaliers. Daniel Gibson, 31 points in an extraordinary shooting performance. 7 of 9 from the field, 12 of 15 at the line in 29 minutes. Let's go to Craig Sager with Daniel Gibson.
Well, the word was that LeBron James would have to have an encore game if they were going to win this series and close out Detroit. He didn't need it because of your spectacular night. Just tell me how you prepared for this game and about your performance.
Oh, man, this is great. Before the game, I was like, right now, it's either all or nothing. It's a closeout game, so I'm going to give it everything I got. And my shot was falling, and it was great.
You said your shot was falling. Did you get into one of those zones that we hear great shooters like Steve Kerr and Reggie Miller talk about where the basket just looked huge?
I mean, yeah. I took a couple of notes from Brian last game, and tonight he told me to step into my shot. He knew they were going to try to double him and try to get the ball out of his hands, so he just told me to step into it and shoot it with confidence.
You told us you like playing with LeBron. LeBron likes playing with you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Craig. We will take a break, and coming up, the presentation of the Eastern Conference Championship Trophy. We're back in Cleveland. We welcome you to Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai. And right here, we'll send it to Quicken Loans Arena public address announcer Olivier Cedric.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you direct your attention to center court for a special presentation. Please welcome TNT's Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you. We have a trophy to present to the Eastern Conference champions, and to do the honors, 11 times an NBA champion, Hall of Famer, Bill Russell is here. And so is the majority owner of your Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert. And with that, here is Bill Russell.
Thank you, Ernie. Good seeing you. I just want to congratulate you guys, Eastern Conference champions. Speaking to the ownership, you made some great choices. Coach, as I've told you before, you're doing a good job. And you players, I know what it takes to win a conference championship. And LeBron, you're younger than I was when I won my first one. And I just want to I want to present you guys with the Eastern Conference Championship trophy and to tell you one other thing. You're no longer just representing yourself, your team, and your city, but you're representing the Eastern Conference.
Yes, sir.
And I'll end by saying, make me proud. Okay. Give me a trophy? Oh,
Dan, you want to get your hands on that?
I do too.
You know what? You became majority owner 2 years ago, a team that did not make the playoffs. 2 years later, you're going to the NBA Finals. I know you have high expectations, but does this exceed even what you had dreamed?
You know, when you have great people like Danny Ferry and Mike Brown and their staffs and LeBron and his staff, right? And all the great players that work together with this team and this organization and all the people behind the team and everybody works together here, and it's just, I don't know what to say except that the philosophy that drives